Any other questions on the subjects at hand? No. Yes, ma'am.
As we approach the end of the year, if you can, I have two questions. One is, do you think that the Capitol is safer this year than it was a year ago?
Of course I do. But we will always ensure that that is the case, and we are having all of the reviews of what we pass into law and how that is being implemented. But let me just say this about 1 year ago, and that is, I don't think that whatever preparation anybody would have made, that anybody could predict that the President of the United States would incite an insurrection, and a violent one. So I don't fault anybody for not knowing, who have responsibility of communication and the rest on all of this, that the President was instigating this. I'm very proud of the work of the January 6th committee. As you see, we see it together in the public domain, the actions that they are taking to seek the truth. And the truth will tell us some things about our exposure then further. But also, I don't know if you can see, but from the windows in the Capitol, we can see actions being taken to protect the Capitol more further.
And also there is a lot of conversations among members and staff about just the breakdown of comity in Congress and the tensions between the two parties. 400 staff members sent a letter to leadership today saying that they don't feel safe because of Boebert and others. So forward-looking, how do you address that, and how do you fix it, and can it be fixed?
Well, I'll never forgive former President of the United States and his lackeys and his bullies that he sent to the Capitol for the trauma that what was exerted on our staff. These are largely younger people who come with idealism to work in the Capitol on either side of the aisle and whatever it is. And for us who sign up for this when we run for office, it's bad enough for our families to see the danger we're in. But for these young people, when I came back to the Capitol to say we're going to open up government in the Capitol that night, we were going to honor our constitutional responsibilities, even though they had an assault on that January 6th date fraught with meaning from the Constitution. When I saw what it meant to the staff, the way it traumatized them, it was frightening. That's something that you cannot just say, well, we'll do legislation to make sure this or that doesn't happen again. You cannot erase that. So I have a lot of communication with staff, with Capitol Police and the rest, so I know pretty much what people are thinking, not everything. And we must always be, it's like an horizon. You're always moving to make it better, And as far as civility is concerned, it would be a good place to start if they didn't start threatening the lives of members of Congress from one of their members to the next and saying nothing about it. But civility is very important. I just met with the spouses and commended them for the role they play in civility, because it really is, just as you suggest, really important, not only to the well-being in our communication and respect for each other, but also in terms of security. So I'll end where I began, with civility and Bob Dole. This was a just exemplary person to serve with in Congress. He served at a time when there was mutual respect, even though disagreement on many issues, across the aisle, across the Capitol. I had the privilege of working with him on a number of issues where I found him to be a man of his word. Everybody did. Everybody did. He was a patriot from the start as a very young person in World War II, where he was injured, and he always, until now, has been fighting with his wife Elizabeth, who has been an angel on all of this, to help families of soldiers who were wounded in combat, as he was. He took that also to another place to expand it to people with disabilities, whatever the reason, and championed the Americans with Disabilities Act and its reauthorization and its funding along the way. He always taught us that we respect people for what they can do, not judge them for what they cannot. And of course, when it comes to food, Dole, in so many ways, McGovern Dole, not our Jim McGovern, although Jim McGovern has been a champion on food, George McGovern and Dole, making sure that that we were better prepared to feed the American people. So in some very specific ways, and just generally speaking, when you're talking about duty and civility, integrity and respect, and I'll have more to say tomorrow at his service. I had the honor of speaking at his 90th birthday at his invitation, a ceremony that was held in Statuary Hall. I told him this summer I was getting ready for his 100th birthday. I didn't know, sadly, that as Speaker I'd be speaking at his lying in state in the Capitol. But when he comes there, he'll bring additional luster to the Capitol as he has brought luster to everything he has done in the Congress. With that, I wish you well. We'll probably see each other before the holidays. Thank you.